Jai Hind students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Students, life is a cycle of happiness, sadness, hard times, and eventually good times. If you are going through hard times, have faith that good times are on the way. So always be happy.
Let's begin this session, students. In this session, we'll be dealing with the topic of alternating current through a capacitor. So, let us consider a capacitor. Suppose its capacitance is C. And this capacitor of capacitance C is connected to a source of alternating EMF. And let the instantaneous value of the alternating EMF be given by E is equal to E naught sine omega t, right? As we have discussed previously, E naught is the peak value of the EMF. It is also known as the EMF amplitude, right? So this is the RMS value. This is the alternating EMF. So put this as equation number 1. Now students, the instantaneous potential difference across the capacitor is, we are aware of the formula Q equals to CV. So V would be equal to Q by C. So the instantaneous PD, that is the potential difference across the capacitor, is Q by C. We are aware of this formula, isn't it? Q is equal to CV. C is the potential difference across the plates of the capacitor. So, across the plates of the capacitor, the potential drop, the instantaneous potential drop across this capacitor would be Q by C. V would be equal to Q by C. Now, the instantaneous EMF, this is the instantaneous EMF due to the source. Due to the source, it must be equal to the instantaneous potential difference across the capacitor. It must be equal to the instantaneous means at a given instant of time, PD across the capacitor. So this is how the equation can be constructed. So the instantaneous EMF due to a source is E, and the instantaneous potential drop across the capacitor is Q by C. Basically, students, our objective is to get the expression for the instantaneous EMF, then to get the expression for the instantaneous current, and to compare those two so as to get the phase relationship between them. So accordingly, we can depict or we can plot graph E and I with time, as well as we can draw the phasor diagram, right? So we need to find out the expression for the current. For that, what to do is Q is equal to CE. You can substitute this value of E over here. Therefore, charge, it would be given by C. In place of E, it can be written as E naught sine omega t, right? Now this is the charge given. So in order to determine the current, we'll differentiate it with respect to time. So current is rate of flow of charge. So it is dq by dt. So let's substitute the value of Q. What we get is C E naught sine omega t. We need to differentiate it with respect to time, right? Now the constant term, it can be taken outside the differentiation. C being constant, it can be taken outside. E naught is the peak value. So it is d by dt sine omega t. So it can further be written as C E naught. Differentiation of sine omega t is cos omega t into differentiation of omega t, right? Therefore, students, I, it's equal to C E naught. Now look over here, differentiation of omega t with respect to t. Omega being constant can be taken outside, and dt by dt is 1. So we'll be left with omega cos omega t. Now this can be rearranged in this following manner. It can be written as I equals to E naught divided by 1 by omega c, like this. Omega is the angular frequency, c is the capacitance, cos omega t, right? So this is a dimensionless quantity. All the trigonometric functions are dimensionless quantity. So therefore, this term must be having the same unit as that of current, which is ampere. And ampere is volt divided by resistance, isn't it? So it is actually E naught divided by XC. This is known as the capacitive reactance, and it is equal to 1 by omega c. This XC is known as the capacitive reactance. It is defined as the resistance offered by the capacitor to the flow of current, right? Now look students, over here ampere, it is volt divided by ohm. So 1 by omega c possesses the same dimensions as that of resistance. So 1 by omega c has the SI unit of ohm. This is known as capacitive reactance, denoted by XC, right? And it is defined as the resistance offered by the capacitor to the flow of current. So in place of 1 by omega c I have written XC. Over here cos omega t. Now students look, if the value of cos omega t is maximum, that is plus 1, then the maximum value of current would be E naught by XC. So here the peak value of current is E naught by XC. That is, I may be written as I naught cos omega t. Here I naught is the peak value of current, which is the current amplitude, and it is equal to E naught by XC. XC, as I stated, is the capacitive reactance. Therefore students, this current can also be written as I equals to I naught. Now in order to compare it with the instantaneous alternating EMF, let's convert it into sine. So we are aware sine 90 minus theta is cos theta. So cos omega t may be written as sine omega t plus pi by 2. Sine 90 plus theta is cos theta, isn't it? So cos omega t may be written as sine omega t plus pi by 2. Put this as equation number 2. Now it will be very simple to compare these two equations so as to get the phase relationship between the instantaneous alternating EMF and the instantaneous alternating current. From 1 and 2, it's pretty evident that in the case of an AC circuit consisting of a capacitor, the current leads the EMF by a phase angle of pi by 2. So that's the phase angle between EMF and the current, which is plus pi by 2. The current leads the EMF by a phase angle of pi by 2. Now first and foremost, let us plot a graph between the EMF or current with time. So let this be the vertical axis, which will represent either instantaneous alternating EMF or current, right? And let this to be the horizontal axis, and let it represent time. So suppose this is T by 4, that is 90 degree. This is T by 2, that is 180 degree. This is 3T by 4, that is 270 degree. And this is suppose T, that is 360 degree. Let's discuss the graph for one complete cycle. Now for EMF, E equals to E naught sine omega t. We are already aware of the sine graph, right? So this is suppose the maximum value. So it will be like this. And in the negative direction, this will be the peak value corresponding to 3T by 4. So this is the graph of E equals to E naught sine omega t. Fine. Now let's plot the graph for the instantaneous current. Now in order to plot the graph between I and T, let's consider this equation. So it is I equals to I naught cos omega t, right? So we are already aware of the nature of the cosine graph. So it will be like this. It should be like this. Cos 0 is maximum. Cos 90 is 0. So it will be like this. So this is the graph for I is equal to I naught cos omega t, or I equals to I naught sin omega t plus pi by 2. Now from the graph it's pretty evident. Now look, here at t equals to 0 current is maximum, but the EMF becomes maximum after t by 4, which is equivalent to 90 degree or pi by 2, isn't it? Then again at this juncture the current becomes 0, but the EMF it becomes 0 after pi by 2. So it means that the EMF is lagging behind the current by phase angle of pi by 2, or in other words the current leads the EMF by a phase angle of pi by 2, right? So basically the conclusion is the current that is I leads the EMF that is E by a phase angle of pi by 2. Alternatively, you can also state that the EMF lags behind the current by a phase angle of pi by 2. Now also let's try to draw the phasor diagram. Suppose this is the origin OX, and let this vertical line represents OY. Now this is, suppose this arrow represents the instantaneous alternating EMF. With respect to OX, it is subtending an angle of omega t. Now look, over here the current is leading the EMF by phase angle of pi by 2 plus pi by 2. So it will be in the anti-clockwise direction. So this is the instantaneous current. So it should be in the anti-clockwise direction like this. This is pi by 2. So here students, the phase angle between the alternating EMF and the current in case of an AC circuit comprising of a capacitor is plus pi by 2.
Do you know, students? A capacitor blocks the flow of DC current while it allows the flow of alternating current. So let's find out the answer. For that, we need to understand capacitive reactance.
Now let's discuss in detail about the capacitive reactance. As I've stated, students, capacitive reactance is actually the resistance offered by a capacitor to the flow of current. And we have discussed XC is equal to 1 by omega C, right? As we are aware, omega, which is the angular frequency, it is 2 pi by capital T. Capital T is the time period, and reciprocal of time period is the linear frequency. So what you get is omega is equal to 2 pi nu. Therefore, the capacitive reactance is also written as 1 by 2 pi nu C. This is nu or linear frequency. So this is the expression for the capacitive reactance. Now let's discuss its special case for DC. Now for DC we are aware the frequency of a DC is 0, right? DC is the direct current or the steady current which doesn't vary with time. So its frequency is 0. Therefore, the capacitive reactance in case of DC would be equal to 1 by 2 pi, in place of nu I should substitute 0, So it will be equal to 1 by 0, and that is infinite. Therefore, the capacitive reactance in the case of DC is infinite. What it means is that a capacitor serves as a block for DC. That is, a capacitor, when connected in a DC circuit, it tends to block the DC in the steady state condition. In the steady state condition, that is when the capacitor is fully charged. So students, it's pretty clear from here. Xc is 1 by 2 pi nu c. So for DC, the frequency is 0. Therefore, Xc will become infinite. Therefore, a capacitor blocks the flow of DC current. Isn't it? And let's consider for AC. For AC, as I have told you earlier also, the frequency of AC in India is 50 Hertz. So, Xc for AC will have some non-zero value. Obviously, since nu is having some non-zero value, Xc for AC will also have some non-zero value. So what it means is, a capacitor offers some finite resistance to the flow of AC current, but it offers infinite resistance to the flow of DC current, or a capacitor blocks the flow of DC current, right? It do not allow the passage of DC current through it when the capacitor is in the steady state condition, that is when the capacitor is fully charged. Clear? Now let's plot a graph showing the variation of the capacitive reactance of a capacitor with the frequency of the AC source, right? So since X is 1 by 2 pi nu c, capacitance of a given capacitor is constant, 2 pi is constant, therefore Xc is inversely proportional to frequency. So let's plot a graph between these two. Suppose this is the vertical axis and let us consider it to be the horizontal axis. Let OX represents the linear frequency and OY, it represents the capacitive reactance. Linear frequency or angular frequency, right? So it's the case of the standard equation of xy equals to constant. So that's a rectangular hyperbola, right? So it should be like this. The graph would be somewhat like this. So at nu equals to 0, Xc will become infinite and vice versa. So it suggests that Xc, capacitive reactance, is inversely proportional to the frequency of the AC source. So this is the nature of the graph which we will obtain while plotting a graph between Xc and frequency, right? So what we have discussed in this article is, in the case of an AC circuit comprising of a capacitor only, then the EMF lags behind the current by phase angle of pi by 2, or the current leads the EMF by phase angle of pi by 2. So what we have discussed in this is the expression for the instantaneous EMF. It is E equals to E naught sine omega t. Second, the expression for the instantaneous current, it is found to be I equals to I naught sine omega t plus pi by 2. Current leads the EMF by phase angle of pi by 2, or EMF lags the current by phase angle of pi by 2. We have plotted the graph showing the variation between E or I with t, as well as we have drawn the phasor diagram, right? And then I naught is the peak value of current, which is E naught divided by Xc. X is the capacitive reactance, which we have right now discussed. It's equal to 1 by omega c. It is equal to 1 by 2 pi nu c. And lastly, the phase angle between the instantaneous alternating EMF and the instantaneous alternating current. It's plus pi by 2. That is, the current leads the EMF by phase angle of pi by 2. Now, after completing the theoretical part of this particular topic, let us concentrate on these two numericals based on an AC circuit consisting of a capacitor only. Let's start with the first question. Calculate the capacitive reactance of a capacitor of capacitance 1 microfarad for a frequency of 10 raised to the power 6 by 2 pi hertz. So, we are supposed to find out XC, right? And XC, it is equal to, we are aware its value is 1 by omega C, right? And omega is the angular frequency. It may be written as 2 pi nu. So let's substitute the value. So we get 1 divided by 2 pi. Frequency is given. It is given to be 10 raised to the 6 divided by 2 pi in hertz. And capacitance is given to be 1 microfarad. So it has to be changed in SI. So 1 microfarad is 1 into 10 to the minus 6 farad. Right? So what we get is 2 pi get cancelled. 10 raised to the 6, 10 raised to minus 6 get cancelled. So we get 1. And capacitive reactance is the resistance offered by the capacitor to the flow of current. So obviously it is the resistance offered. So its SI unit is ohm. So answer is 1 ohm. Right? Now let's concentrate on the second question. A capacitor of capacitance 1 microfarad is connected to a source of AC having EMF given by E equals to 200 cos 120 pi t. Right? We are supposed to find out the RMS value of the current through the capacitor. So, the value of the capacitance of the capacitor is given to be 1 microfarad, that is 1 into 10 to the power minus 6 farad, right? And the equation for the instantaneous alternating EMF, it's given to be E equals to 200 cos 120 pi t. Now we are already aware of the standard equation, isn't it? The instantaneous alternating EMF may be represented either by sine function or by cosine function. So, comparing it with the standard equation of E equals to E naught cos omega t. Let's compare these two. What we get is E naught is the peak value of the instantaneous alternating EMF. So E naught is 200 volt. And also coefficient of T is omega, angular frequency. Here coefficient of T is 120 pi. So omega, it is 120 pi. SI unit is radian per second, right? What we are supposed to find is RMS value of current. Now IRMS, it would be equal to ERMS divided by net resistance offered, and net resistance offered by the capacitor to the flow of current is known as capacitive reactance. Now students, we are aware of the relationship between the RMS value and the peak value. RMS value is equal to peak value divided by root 2, that is 0.707 times the peak value, isn't it? So let's make use of these relations. Therefore, the RMS current through the capacitor is given by I is equal to E. E is the RMS value of the EMF. It is given by E naught by root 2, that is 0.707 of E naught divided by XC. It's equal to 1 by omega C. We all are aware of it. So that will give us 0.707 into E naught into omega C. Right? So now last step, we need to substitute the value of angular frequency and the capacitance. That will give us the result. So it is 0.707. Peak value, it's given to be 200. Angular frequency, that is given to be 120 pi. Right? And capacitance, it's given to be microfarad, which is 10 raised to power minus 6. So let's try to solve it. What we get is 0.707 multiplied by 12 to 24 into pi multiplied by 10 raised to power. These are 3 zeros and 10 raised to minus 6. So we'll be left with 10 raised to power minus 3. Clear, students? And 24 multiplied by 0.707. It is somewhat 16.8 multiplied by pi, that is 3.14 into 10 raised to power minus 3. So 16.8, it can be considered to be 17, and 3.14 can be approximated to be 3. So 17/3 is 51, isn't it? So it will be 51 multiplied by 10 raised to power minus 3. So that will give us 0.051 ampere. So this is the RMS value of current through the capacitor. So students, that's it for this particular session, and in the next lecture we'll be discussing the AC circuit consisting of the series grouping of circuit elements, right? So till then, do take very good care of yourself and keep practicing more and more such numericals, right? So do join me in my next lecture and stay blessed and always remain happy. Thank you.